For what purpose does the gentleman from California, Mr. Stark, rise?
To speak out of order, Madam Speaker.
The gentleman is recognized for that objection.
Madam Speaker, as the
House will be in order.
Dean of the California delegation, it's my privilege, high honor, and distinct pleasure to introduce the newest member of our California delegation, Laura Richardson, elected to California's 37th Congressional District in a special election held just recently. Laura Richardson is a passionate critic of the war in Iraq, a supporter of universal health care, and a welcome addition to our delegation after 3 terms on Long Beach City Council, several years as director for Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante. Laura was elected to the California State Assembly last November, and less than a year later she won a special election to succeed our dear departed colleague Juanita Millender McDonald, and joins us here. It's a distinction that she has one of the few people in the history of this country to serve both in a local, state, and federal post within 1 year. Yeah. She worked for Juanita as a field deputy, and she will continue her important work to ensure that all Americans can participate in a fair and free electoral process. Laura's career has many highlights. While on the City Council, she was responsible for bringing Long Beach's inner city its first job training center for working families. She championed economic development and improved transportation services. And, dear to my heart, she helped open the first new bank in the city's central area since the 1992 riots. In the Assembly, she became the first African-American woman to serve as the Assistant Speaker Pro Tem, and in the House, she'll keep California's Democratic delegation a majority female. Of our 34 members, 18 are women. She's a member of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, and she joins us as an effective voice for working families in Congress, and I look forward to working with her to improve health care for everyone and address the disparities in our health care system. And I know that you're important to her and to all of us, and I would like at this time, if I may, Madam Speaker, to yield to my distinguished senior delegate from the Republican delegation of California.
Madam Speaker, I thank my friend for yielding, and I would like to join with our colleague in extending congratulations on behalf of all the Republican members to our new colleague, Ms. Richardson. We were all saddened by the untimely passing of our friend and former colleague, Juanita Millender McDonald, but knowing that her former field deputy is going to be representing her, I know would make Juanita extraordinarily proud. And to go from the City Council to the State Legislature to the United States Congress within a 1-year period of time is a very, very impressive accomplishment. And I will say that I know the California delegation will continue to work together in a bipartisan way, and we look forward to welcoming Ms. Richardson as part of that effort. And I thank my friend for yielding.
Madam Speaker, at this time, I'd like to yield the balance of my time to the Honorable Laura Richardson, representative for the California's 37th Congressional District.
The gentlelady is recognized.
Well, do you still like me over there? Madam Speaker Pelosi, Leaders Hoyer, Clyburn, Emanuel, Becerra, Caucus Chairs Lofgren, Kilpatrick, Baca, and Honda, the California delegation, thank you all for meeting with me, kind of putting me under your wing, and really sharing your pearls of wisdom. To Congresswoman Waters, for the last 120 days, you have tirelessly, unrelentingly, instructive, and even graciously transparent in your efforts you've worked to help me to get here. Thank you. To my supporters and friends and family in the gallery, my consultant, manager, labor, brothers and sisters, volunteers, friends, and staff, I will individually thank you in the reception that will follow, but I would be remiss to not publicly acknowledge the dedicated work that you did to get me here. Thank you very much. To my new colleagues, yes, on both sides of the aisle, it is my desire to establish a reputation to be a member's member. What that means to me is to be a hard worker, to be responsive, to be straightforward and honest, even if we disagree, and I hear that happens a few times here. You know, or you will learn to know, that I will keep my word. To the constituents of the California 37th Congressional District, my job will be to focus as much on the war in America, the war of crime, poverty, inadequate health care, failing education, crumbling infrastructure, and sparse development, as much as I will focus on the war in Iraq. My job will be to prove that the poor aren't just poor because they want to be or because they don't want to work, that with job training and livable wages, not all urban youth choose gang life, and that blighted areas are not a result of white flight, rather they're a result of lack of investments and revitalization. I also believe I have a responsibility to unveil the shameful sin of injustice, inequality, and inequities that still do exist, and I've seen them and lived them in this wonderful country today. To the McDonald family, I will always be grateful to Congresswoman McDonald, who first hired me and trained me over 10 years ago. As a staffer, I almost got fired my first week because I left her in a church. And I fondly recall her saying to me, "I guess I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater." I respectfully stand today on her legacy as I reach towards my own destiny. Finally, to the God that I serve and to my family, who support me and love me dearly, my mother, my sister, my uncle, my nephew, haven't we come a mighty long way? My maternal grandparents, who immigrated here freely from Ireland and from Germany, and yet my fraternal grandparents, completely the opposite, who came here forcibly in chains and centuries of bondage. Who would have thought that the cost had a price that would require my payment? A seed of hope, yet equally a seed of despair, a seed of opportunity, yet equally a seed of why I can't, a seed of love that was met with seeds of hate. Who would have thought? I guess those who built and have served in this sacred chamber, many of you, that after all, that's what this place is for. For a girl like me, at the age of 6, who chose after watching and living the civil rights movement, that really those of us who lived through the pains of struggle would one day have an opportunity to make sure that everyone really was free. I welcome this responsibility. Thank you.
Under Clause 5D of Rule 20, the Chair announces to the House that in light of the administration of the oath of office to the gentlewoman from California, the whole number of the House is 434.